Okay, so this is my review of Cyrus's DAC XP Signature. This is a preamplifier and digital to analog converter, or DAC, all in one box. The idea being that you can add all your digital sources to it via its digital inputs, including CD transports, which are effectively a CD player without a DAC, and other pure digital sources such as streamers. You have at the back 6 digital inputs. You have a combination of toslink or optical inputs and 4 coaxial inputs. As far as other connections at the back go, you also have 2 sets of RCA or phono pre-outs for connecting up power amplifiers and 2 sets of 3-pin XLR balanced outputs for doing the same job. There are also 2 analog RCA phono inputs and Cyrus's MC bus link system. The XLR connections can be used for connecting up both to Cyrus power amps, which have XLR connections, specifically the Mono X200 and X300 signature amps, and other non-Cyrus amps which have such connections. It's important to note that both the DAC XP Signature and Cyrus's signature power amps have balanced circuits. Now, as far as the design is concerned, this is a twin 32-bit DAC design. You have separate DACs for each left and right channel, which upscale to the highest possible 24-bit 192 kHz resolution, so you can make MP3s and other lossy files sound very good. Obviously though, these DACs are meant for playing best possible 24-bit files. Another feature of this amp is that it's a dual mono design, which means each channel has its own preamp stage and output stage, with separate circuits for each channel. Now, I don't know whether this is true or not, but this design seems to give this preamp a very good sound stage and imaging, which on other spec Cyrus preamps I've owned, which are stereo preamps, they don't have anywhere near as good sound separation, imaging and sound staging, and the way the sound can move from one channel to the other very quickly. The way each channel or speaker seems to be unto itself and doing its own thing. The power supplies are separated for the DAC stages and the pre-stages, and you've got 2 donut-shaped toroidal transformers at the front, one for doing each job. Another thing you can do with this preamp is connect up Cyrus's PSXR power supply, which takes care of the filter stages of the analog output, which sounds quite technical, but basically plug it in and it transforms the sound of the pre, giving more detailed dynamics and more bass response. One issue with this unit is it has approximately a 20-watt power consumption in standby, so it can actually get very hot at the front and sides where the transformers are. The unit, when on, only uses an extra 2 watts. Cyrus say that this is normal for the unit, and it actually has a thermal cutout, and the case is designed as a heat sink to keep internal temperatures lower. It's nothing to be unduly worried about, and apparently high consumptions at standby ensure the unit is performing well from the word go. If you are thinking about buying this unit or own it with other Cyrus balanced amplifiers, specifically the X200 and X300 signature power amps, I can't say enough about using the balanced XLR outputs rather than the RCA pre-outs. I've done tests with like-for-like cables, and the XLR version produced a more detailed, natural and layered sound over the RCA version of the same cable. The RCA version was just trying to bring out the prevalent parts of the track with less layering. This isn't surprising to me, given you're exploiting the true balanced circuits of the pre and its corresponding signature power amps. As far as menus go on the main unit, it's fairly simple. With the same display Cyrus has been using for some time, you can assign input names to all the digital or analog inputs, or just the ones you want. You can display large or small input names, and there are roll-off filters for changing the way the DACs interpret the sound. You can also integrate it with surround sound systems, using it as your pre for the front 2 channels. You also get the newer, intuitive Cyrus IR14 remote with a backlight and learning ability. Some actually say that the case and display is dated, but I think the overall appearance of the half-size cases are quite retro and understated, making you believe that something special is happening elsewhere, and I think that's in the sound. You get a very detailed, dynamic, fast-paced, natural sound, which is mainly the qualities of Cyrus, So in terms of dynamics, big volume differences between parts of a track and within notes and instruments, making, say, drum beats very realistic. It's good for all types of music such as classical, electronic and rock. Tonally, bass tends to be lean in the overall sound of a track compared to some hi-fi I've heard, which is a quality Cyrus are quite well known for, but bass does actually come on when needed. You won't get much bass warmth if there's no bass instruments in the part of the track you are listening to. It's a bit like if you had the bass tone control turned slightly below neutral. Frankly, I don't think this is a bad thing, as Cyrus's ideal isn't to replicate a concert track and the bass that entails, but to replicate all the good qualities like detail and resolution and dynamics that make music so real. On the downside, I've heard some say that the level of detail resolution that this preamp can create makes the sound slightly analytical in the sense you hear particular sounds in a track you might not have heard of. Frankly, it's a positive for me, as the more detail I can get, the more I've got a smile on my face, hearing all these previously unheard of sounds. Also, there is no headphone socket or USB input, but you could add a headphone amp, and Cyrus say their streamers have USB inputs. So just to let you know, I'm basing my review on the X200 signature power amps. I'm also using it with PMC 2023 speakers, a Cyrus CDT transport and Cyrus's StreamX signature streamer. So in summary, I'd very much recommend this unit. It's a step above Cyrus pre-DAC preamps with qualities of sound staging, imaging, detail and dynamics in a different league. I'd say it definitely warrants its price compared to these lesser Cyrus preamps which I've owned. So thanks very much for watching and listening to my review of Cyrus's DAC XP signature.